Today I'm going to go through all the new ARAM Mayhem specific augments. I'll start by going through the Prismatic Augments. They're the ones that are probably the most exciting, then the gold and then silver augments. Here's the timestamps if you'd like to skip to different sections, and I've tried to do the augments in alphabetical order in case there's a specific augment that you're looking out for. The first Prismatic Augment, Baby Kitty, is quite an interesting one. You assign your mama by standing next to an ally champion for a few seconds, and then you gain movement speed when walking towards that ally champion, and you gain further movement speed and healing and shield power when you're very close to the ally champion. In this clip, you can see my movement speed increase from 452 to 523. It is important to note that you can't change your mama unless the ally champion dies or you die, in which case you can then pick a new ally champion or the same ally champion to be your mama. The biggest snowball ever augment is a really fun one. You get like a Nunu snowball that goes through minions, deals quite a lot of magic damage, knocks the enemy up, and then you can dash to the enemy champion afterwards. The Cruelty Augment summons a comet over enemies that have been grounded or immobilized. This augment works best with champions that have a lot of crowd control, but remember that cruelty doesn't apply to slowing effects. Empyrean Promise transports you to a target ally, giving both you and the ally a shield upon arrival. I haven't seen this augment since the latest patch, not quite sure why, but also I think this Prismatic Augment is quite underwhelming. Final Form works when you cast your ultimate. You gain a max health shield, omnivamp, and movement speed. From my experience, this augment pairs really nicely with champions that have a high number of hit points or have a low ult cooldown, like Jace or Nidalee. The Prismatic Augment Gash applies on-hit true damage that scales with your armor. When I took this augment in a Wukong game, which I thought would work really well with his armor stacking passive, it was very underwhelming. Champions that stack a lot of armor don't have a lot of attack speed, so you're unable to really use the on-hit true damage effect of this Prismatic Augment. Maybe this augment could work well with Rammus, but I haven't tried it myself in the game. Glass Cannon reduces your max health by 30%, but you deal an extra 15% damage as true damage. This augment is very much a double-edged sword, because champions that deal a lot of damage already have a low number of hit points. I think this augment works really well for champions that dive into the enemy team and deal as much damage as they can, or they are able to poke from far away and are able to play from a safe range. With the Prismatic Augment Gold Rend, when you damage an enemy champion with attacks or abilities, you deal extra magic damage, grant 15 gold, and you gain 25% movement speed for 1.5 seconds. You can see that a mark is available when there's a gold circle next to the enemy champion. The Prismatic Augment King Me was probably one of my favorite augments when ARAM Mayhem was released, because not only does it upgrade one of your legendary items, you also gain a random Prismatic Augment. Before you get these rewards, you must take the enemy portal once. Depending on the game situation, it can be quite tricky making your way to the enemy portal. However, with champions like Pantheon, Twisted Fate, and Bard, this augment challenge can be achieved a lot easier. The Prismatic Augment Laser Heal replaces your summoner spell in slot D. This laser lasts for 2.5 seconds, heals allies, and deals magic damage to enemy champions. As the name of the augment suggests, it's really mainly used for healing, because from my experience, the magic damage dealt to enemy champions is very minimal. It can work really well in situations where you're able to heal allies while simultaneously slowing and dealing some magic damage to enemy champions. Strangely enough, I haven't been able to pick up the Prismatic Augment Omnius pack, which is why there's no video footage. But basically with this augment, each ability cast costs 5% of your current health and you gain increased ability power with missing health. Furthermore, when you're at 70% missing health, you gain additional Omnivamp and movement speed. The Prismatic Augment Protein Shake is quite simple. You gain additional heal and shield power based on your armor and magic resistance. However, with this augment, I don't think there are many champions that would be suitable, but if you know some, let me know down in the comments. The Prismatic Augment Sneak Ahead requires you to complete a series of tasks for each of the boots in League of Legends. However, since the last patch, I think this Prismatic Augment has been temporarily removed due to people exploiting an infinite gold glitch with this augment. The Prismatic Augment Snowball Roulette is an interesting concept, but I don't think it's a very strong Prismatic Augment. When you cast your snowball onto an enemy champion, it shows on your champion what summoner spell you'll get or what summoner spell you'll give to the enemy champion when you take the dash to the enemy champion. It's quite easily missed, but if you look at my champion, when I cast my snowball, you'll see that summoner icon pop up briefly. It is important to note that the summoner spell will only be cast if you do take the dash. And the reason why I don't think this augment is very viable is because you can't predict which summoner spell you'll get. As an example, in this clip, you can see that when I land the snowball onto Cogmore, I get a cleanse, which doesn't help the situation. The Snowball Roulette also works on minions, and I was able to get a heal spell, which is better than nothing. The Prismatic Augment Ultimate Awakening gives 30 ultimate ability haste, and when you cast your ultimate, it refreshes all of your basic abilities. The Prismatic Augment Upgrade Mikhail's Blessing is a very gold efficient augment, because you gain a free Mikhail's Blessing which would usually cost 2,300 gold. Furthermore, when you use this Mikhail's Blessing, the cooldown is reduced and you also heal that champion and nearby allies for extra health. Next up, let's have a look at the new gold augments in ARAM Mayhem. The gold augment cheating allows you to recool and return to base to buy items, collect augments, and what it doesn't say is that it also heals you up to full HP. I think that this augment is really strong because it overcomes ARAM's biggest weakness while also denying your enemies your death gold. The gold augment Critical Rhythm grants 25% crit chance, and when your attacks critically strike, your champion stacks attack speed. You can see the stats above the champion's abilities, and interestingly, when the stacks expire, they go from all to nothing. So they don't go down from like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, they just go from 5 to 0. The augment Get Excited is similar to Jinx's passive. On takedowns, you gain additional movement speed and attack speed for 4 seconds. Night Stalking is similar to the old Duskblade passive. When you take down an enemy champion, you become invisible for 3 seconds. The gold augment Snowball upgrade gives your snowball 100 ability haste, and when you land it on a champion, it does area magic damage and slows the nearby enemies, similar to MF's E ability. Just a reminder that when you do take the dash to the enemy champion, the cooldown of Snowball is further reduced. The gold augment, Spiritual Purification, is similar to the Atakan buff. Upon takedowns, you deal area max health damage to enemy champions and also slows them by 60%. The gold augment, Upgrade Hubris, also grants healing and additional movement speed upon takedowns. Similar to the stacking AD in Hubris, the upgrade Hubris also stacks the movement speed bonuses. The upgrade Infinity Edge augment grants 25% crit chance, 500 additional gold, and also bonus critical damage based on your critical strike chance. The gold augment, Upgrade Sheen, gives 250 additional gold, and Sheen procs deal additional damage and also heal your champion a little bit. You can see in this clip the visual effects from the Sheen healing after I use an ability. The gold augment, Vampirism, prevents healing from health regen or allies, but you do gain 30% Omni Vamp. You can tell by the visual effect on enemies that you damage. In case you didn't know, the visual effects are the chomping red teeth that you see. Last, and maybe the least important, let's go through the Silver ARAM Mayhem Augments. The Silver Augment, Adamant, stacks armor and magic resistance every time you ground or immobilize an enemy champion. You can tell how many stacks you have by the shield armor looking icon above your summoner's abilities. Upon reaching 35% health, you gain a decaying shield and decaying movement speed. This augment can be really good to get you out of sticky situations. However, it can also be popped and activated by accident. The Silver Augment fetch is very interesting. You gain bonus movement speed towards enemies marked by Snowball, and also you can pick up snowballs that your allies have used, and you can see them by the visual snowball effect on the floor. Doing so will fully refund the cooldown on your Snowball Summoner spell. The Silver Flash 2 Augment grants 70 Summoner spell ability haste, and you gain another flash spell. However, it replaces your summoner spell in slot D. The Silver Augment, Hat on a Hat, grants additional ability power and magic resist based on the number of headwear items and hats. This augment becomes stronger as the game goes on when you have more gold and items. The Silver Augment, Mighty Shield, grants adaptive force for 3 seconds when you gain a shield. The Silver Augment, Poltergeist, replaces your summoner spell in slot D. This summoner spell casts both barrier and ghost at the same time. The Silver Augment, Re-Energize, fully refunds energize attacks that are not against the same target. Furthermore, energize attacks deal additional magic damage. The Silver Augment, Swift and Safe, grants a shield when a dash or blink ability is used. It is important to note that this also works on Snowball and the portals. Upgrade Collector increases the execute threshold from 5 to 5.5%. Furthermore, the gold gain increases from 25 to 50 gold. The Upgrade Cutlass gives your champion an additional 25% damage when this item is active. Furthermore, the cooldown is decreased to 30 seconds. This works both for Lifeline and Spectral Cutlass. The Silver Augment Upgrade Amulet grants 10 additional gold per enemy champion affected by this augment. It can be quite good to get some additional gold, but other than that, this augment doesn't do too much. Upgrade Zhonya's reduces the cooldown to 90 seconds and more importantly, allows you to move during stasis. Furthermore, you gain an additional 250 gold. This augment can be really good to duke out enemies' abilities and also staying on the enemy's tail with champions like Fiddlesticks, Morgana, and Rumble as shown in this clip. The Silver Augment Wind Beneath Blade grants additional movement speed based on your armor penetration and magic penetration. And that's the end of this video highlighting all the new ARAM Mayhem Augments. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting to show your support. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.